Chapter 10, World. To each human sense, this world is different. Every citizen of the physical world has a problem of survival. While basically their trouble is the same, awareness is acute only when it is personal. My problem, my body, my family, business, health, finance, life, the my gives a distinctive difference that seems to set each somewhat apart from anyone else who may face a similar situation. To personal sense, mine is one most tragic, most present, most difficult to meet or to solve. Our world seems to be in a great need of succour. On every side is trouble and bewilderment. Panaceas are offered by systems, groups, cults, teaching, and by persons, but in most cases, if not all, those making the offer are themselves beset by the very ills for which they profess to hold the answers. Some claim there is power in matter. Others say it lies in the realm of thinking. Some argue that we must become spiritual if we would have peace, health, and happiness. More and more effort is being made by an ever-increasing segment of society to bring its sense of God to suffering humanity. In all earnestness and sincerity of purpose, these noble men and women are unselfishly doing their best for the betterment, the uplift of their fellows. However, absolute truth is too startling for acceptance, so they compromise, soften or thin it down, adulterate it by screening God through theological conceptions. Eager to have their brand of deity accepted, they are cautious, careful, almost shy lest they offend the accredited physical senses. Their doctrinal God is emasculated, weak, puerile, a confusion that emphasizes good absence and leaves trouble, evil still enthroned. Of course, all this is only in the realm of human fable. How are things in reality, in the divine realm? In actuality, is there any compromise? Is there something beside God as someone who can compromise or for whom a compromise is needed, justified or allowed? Is there another beside God's world, another presence, power, universe, another life beside the one that is here? Is there another substance, existence, another omnipotence, omnipresence, omniaction, omniscience, a dual mind, one good and the other bad, one infinite and the other finite? Is there one all or more? Would you caution one to speak quietly, walk slowly, softly, and voice less than truth, lest he frighten off the timid? God being one entirety, who is there to offend by absolute truth? Does intelligence want, accept or know, ought accept absolute truth? Is there another who should, can, or ever did know anything? Is this world in great need of truth, God being absolute existence? Can changeless perfection be improved, rounded out, completely helped, purified, elevated, converted, resurrected, redeemed? What could possibly thrive on a half-truth? Where could such reside, infinity being the only identity? Can God know evasion, pussyfooting, weak-kneed, or pink tea approach to reality, or is God absolute reality itself? Is there another beside God, one who can be shocked by God's allness? Duality is vanity and vexation of spirit. See Ecclesiastes 1:14. The theological or human approach is based on two worlds, one spiritual and the other material, one infinite and the other finite, temporal, fleeting, one where God dwells and the other the home of mortals and evil. Basing reason upon such nonsense denies truth at the outset, ignores intelligence, and betrays oneself. Theology insists that omnipotence, omnipresence, the one God, share the limelight with evil until the latter is vanquished and cast out. It insists that the devil must be wrestled with and overcome before perfection can be won, that God is not yet fully, wholly God, that God was so at one time in the dim past, but that God lost its status by the arrival of Satan, a fallen angel or imperfect production, darkness, and ever since then God has been at war to regain its changeless perfect state. World governments are based upon this unreasonable reasoning. Code of ethics, education, scientific learning, and general deduction concerning all things surrounding us have been colored thereby. Wars cannot be stopped, misunderstanding between nations cannot be averted, social well-being and plenty cannot be experienced so long as darkness is our highest sense of light. Working in ignorance can accomplish nothing in the line of truth. Catering to disease does nothing in reality. Serving unreality does not reap a reward of intelligent perception. There are endless organizations busily striving to bring good to others. Their wonderful self-sacrifice is not belittled, nor their good intentions questioned as they strive to be good Samaritans, lifting up the fallen, helping the weary, or being a haven to those in grief and pain. However, if they are needy, sufferers, helpless mortals, sinners, then God is not all. If such is the case, how is one to help? If truth is not truth, what authority can one use? What power? What presence? If intelligence is no longer infallibly intelligent, how will one know what to do or how to do it? Truth is absolute. It cannot be compromised. Any attempt to soften or state it other than as absolute is to misstate, not state it. A single hair's breadth of deviation from the absolute renders any statement false. For whosoever shall keep the whole law, and yet offend in one point, or at any point deny that God is all, he is guilty of all. To rob God of aught is to deal in illusion. Nothing less than perfection is perfection, truth. Any compromise is a tacit claim that fact is unstable, changeable, capable of reversal while maintaining its status quo. So who makes such an admission? Can such absurdity proceed from intelligence? Never. Can aught in this world admit there is evil? God being the sole substance, conceiver, perceiver. Can man admit anything? What is man that thou art mindful of him? Wherein is he to be accounted for? To absolute truth, and there is no other truth. There are no men, humans, mortals, sinners, or sufferers, no children of God or men, no one be born, no one dying. Truth knows itself to be all, changeless, permanent. Any assumption that there is aught that came forth from Adam, or evolved from another or lower life form is utterly false. Any notion that the self you are is other than perfect consciousness is without foundation. The whole of your world is complete now, in mind and nowhere else. There is nothing material, nothing to be blown apart, de-atomized. Truth is the entire substance self, which includes the universe, and is not subject to hostile attack, nor destruction by governments, bombs, disease, or germ warfare, persons, or self-induced ignorance. Truth is changeless reality. Actuality and mind can know naught beside. You do not have to emerge from a dream or change yourself at all. You do not have to lay off matter or body and take on spirit and life. You do not have to beseech God, your soul self, to look down upon you as a sinner, nor beg God to nullify a curse supposedly made by a mythical, tribal deity upon equally mythical characters, the clan of man. Yourself does not have to undergo any change or alteration. God's world and all therein is the only one there is, this one which you are now free to enjoy fully. Should anything seem wrong, troublesome, threatening, fearful to behold, it is because you are back with the theological fairy tale of a revengeful God who supposedly occupies the place of the Almighty One. Turn from the spectacle and begin singing praise to the alone omnipresence. You have no contrary mind to know evil. The so-called human mind's misidentification of the world and all therein has never changed the universe for one moment. Truth remains true. God remains the sole unchallenged conceiver, perceiver of this universe. So long as one struggles with a false concept, with the assumption that at its origin, that there is a mind to take it in or be familiar with it, he works in the dark. An assumption cannot be elevated to reality. Nothing can be done for, with, or to it. No mistake exists in truth, nor aught outside of truth, all-inclusive infinity. Where then can one look save to God only? In truth, there is no devil to look away from, flee before, or escape. Only God is here, everywhere. To attempt to understand this world by delving into evil, ignoring intelligence, attempting prodigality by bypassing truth is to deny omnipotent reality in its own kingdom, to leave life without its own completeness, to divide the indivisible one and omit being from its own action. Such utter folly could never be conceived by any sense. There are not two states of being, actuality and nothing. Reality is, unreality is not. Hence there is no alternative, no choice. God is God to God alone. Only to itself, never to man, is the one alone God. In the so-called world of man, man's deity is man-made. A mortal God is the result of human sense hungrily reaching out beyond its own puny self for life, substance, power, and identity. The basis of humanity is a myth, a thick mist wherein darkness or mortality is the norm. Ignorance is natural, and truth is the unknown stranger. It assumes its God to be an outside power, larger than itself. As its civilization has evolved in refinement, its God has kept pace. As men are, so is their God. As they hate or pity, are revengeful or forgiving, so is their deity. Men tell their troubles to their God, expecting to be listened to and judged, yet their God's justice is their own enlarged. They assume God is aware of all their sins, corruption, and frailty, that nothing slips by unheeded, unnoted, unrecorded by the one they worship. That which is human can never save humanity, nor is mankind rescued by God. God knows nothing about materiality. God knows not of sin, Satan, or hell. God does not punish or reward in the human or any other sense, does not visit us as if we were poor relatives, distant cousins, friends, or even children in whom God is interested. God does not look down upon the works of man, is not concerned with world trends, nor is God losing patience with humanity and planning to destroy it. God knows not but God alone, for there is nothing else for God to know. This truth is our salvation and that of our world. Where God is all, nothing unlike infinity can exist. Where then is the enemy? Truth's revelation or awareness of being all-inclusive, totality, does not obliterate the world nor a single idea therein, does not eradicate one, nor his companions, friends, or dear ones. Only as one would identify his world himself as material, products evolve to their present status. Is there a fear of truth, a determined refusal to accept fact? To such he and his world must remain miscreated, or he cannot maintain a personal identity. This rationalization is a mistaken sense of self-preservation, but by so attempting to save his life, he loses sight of it by ignoring it, his only real identity. See Matthew 16:25. As already stated in truth, there never was a decline of spirit, a fall from grace, a battle royale between the forces of God and those of evil, no fallen angel who became Satan, hence no creation of man, the human race, no birth, sickness, sorrow, death. God, being the alone one without another, has no children. God is forever, itself only, unchanged, whole, the all of all. God is the absolute entirety of totality. The life right here is the I am that I am, being its own individual, unchallenged self. You nor I have any other self to be, regardless of dimension and location. Here in the middle of Africa, on Mars, or some planet a trillion light years from Terra, the form or pattern of the idea, body, may greatly differ, for mind never duplicates any form, idea, or thing, but none are the individual identity. The I am is God only, the sole individual identity. Waste no more time over the temporal, the corporeal appearance of the world, but look to God's universe as I am. Behold heaven, where all is as it is, perfect, complete. Turn from study, contemplation, and worry over the fabled you of education, personal sense, human body, conditions of state, or of the planet. From truth's elevation, look about and behold the grandeur, glory, perfection, joy, and delight of your soul self, wherein is this very world, this universe of spirit, mind, consciousness. Here nothing needs yet to be done. This world is already within God, hence is the kingdom of heaven. This is the city, four square, where there is no accuser of our brethren. Revelations 12:10. No night of ignorance. God is the light, the indestructible consciousness that includes all there is, and there is no other. What effect, you made a man, has this revelation on the world as you have known it? How will it affect the problem of the one asking for help? What will this point of view do for my country, the men in arms, politics, my pocketbook, success, or domestic situation? By merely changing my sense of God, will this bring about a happier home, healthier body, better relationship with society, help me find the right companion, mate, helper, the right cook, stenographer, a better position? Can absolute truth heal and regenerate me, overcome appetite, enable me to fit into a highly competitive business melee? What about my problems of bridge, canasta, problems at the club, church, my social status? In other words, what good is this changeover going to bring me? Why should I embrace, accept, believe, or work with it? Remember, I've worked and studied so long, had so much practice in the old and general ways of the world. Why change now? And by whose authority or say so? Dear reader, nothing will happen to you, your world, or anything therein. The world as you have sensed it is a fiction. Nothing can be done for it or to it. It is forever nil. The only world is within God, eternally perfect, needing nothing. Even as you could never apply truth to a flat earth, never heal, change, expel, or explode it, because there's no such thing. So you can do naught for a fictional universe, because it is not. What of those believing in a flat earth, you may question? Was not their flat earth as real to them as the real earth is in actuality? This very question implies duality. The fact being that the only earth is round, no one has ever had a flat one. How then can one stop it from being flat? To attempt such is a complete ignoring of truth. No changing of attitude, atonement, devout worship, or prayer over the matter has any relationship with truth, reality, but is one with falsity. Truth reveals the earth to be round. There never was a flat one. No one suffered with it, from it, lived upon it, or knew aught about it. Likewise with the truth concerning the self, yours, mine, a friend in Iceland, someone on Venus or galaxies away through immensity. God is the one and only, the whole self, the conscious individual being all. So with this planet or planets immeasurably distant in dimension, spirit includes them one and all right here. Spirit conceives them and is their sole identifier. Nothing is foreign or alien to spirit. Nothing is an enemy to mind, which is all. Do you have a world of dimensions, a planet of nations, a country of races, a government of oppositions, a mind of contradictions, a body of changing elements, a God of moods? Does such a concept give you serenity and security, or do you feel impelled to cry out for peace, peace, when there is no peace? Remember, there never is anything but God. God is never anything else than God. God is not confused, limited, cramped, mortal, or fearful, but is pure, perfect, whole, happy, harmonious. This light is here now. The one individual soul identity is this light itself, changelessly being the individual one I am. Light and individual are not two, but the self-same one action, one being God, infinitely individual, being individually infinite. In light there is no darkness to expel, change, heal, or cast out. In this light, the world of mind is beheld by mind as perfect, is beheld as consisting of the infinite variations of form or patterns of the idea in which mind takes delight. Not a single complete idea has mind omitted from its conceiving. Nothing else exists to be admitted. Clinging to a history, a past wherein lurks all manner of superstition, supposition beclouds one's awareness of the one presence. There is neither a past nor a future in truth. Time is the supposed measurement of the immeasurable now, a dimensional concept of the undimensional, a period wherein the degree of God's presence is not as it now is. There is no time. There is no period gone by when omnipresence was less than the absolute presence. There is no period yet to come when omniscience will be more intelligence, more present than the absolute. Isness, reality, is the only measurement of infinity. Either God is the unchangeable all now, or there is no eternity, reality, stability, constancy, or consistency, no infinity. One is on the horns of this dilemma if he would argue down mind's allness or assume he can evolve up to a perfect God from the realm of human belief. If one is a belief, then God is not infinite, the only mind. If there is a human mind, even a temporary one, during its existence, God ceases to be all without another. Duality at any point repudiates oneness. If God stops being, even for a fraction of a moment, life terminates, infinity is not, and God, truth, including you and your world, is gone forever. You have been told to look for God alone, for nothing else is. Now, lest evil still appeals to you as desirable, believable, or as having status, power, presence of any sort, let us take an intelligent look. Evil is a supposed absence of good, God. To evil, good would not be good. Evil's good is bigger, blacker evil. Health is not healthy to evil, disease. To evil, sickness is its healthy state. Truth is false to a lie. To evil, falsity is true, normal. Heaven is hell to sin. Sin can thrive only in its own element. Life excludes death. To evil, death is its piece de resistance. Spirit does not conceive nor identify humans, personalities, for they deny spirit's identity. Infinity knows no limitation. The finite claims all good to be limited, divisible, destructible. Divine intelligence is undimensional being. Evil ignorance identifies itself according to its degree of darkness, its ignoring of truth. If evil is, it must be present, hence included in omnipresence in heaven. If hate is, love being all must be its victim. If death is, life, God, the alone one, dies. This would be the end of existence. Nothing, no one would be left. In the light of this truth, do you still stick to your claim that there is evil, that you can claim it, or that it can claim you or your world? It cannot be, for God is all. There can be neither scar nor remembrance of evil. The purported place thereof shall know it no more. Psalm 103:16. Completeness is the measure of infinity. It cannot be present in degrees. The absolute perfect present is not overloaded, overlooked, or neglected. It is not in a state of evolution, development, or growth toward perfection in the future. Good is now complete, holy, entire, inclusive of the universe and all ideas. There is no weight, no future, no time, and omnipresence, omniaction. All power is intelligently being. Intelligence is being all-powerful, individually identifying itself here as this I that I am. Should the suggestion of old difficulties seem to cling, or should the problem appear to be slow and fading, do not worry over it. Wait upon it, entertain it, nourish it, or be fooled into attacking it. Do not condemn a personal sense of yourself as having failed properly to apply the truth. God being the sole self of you, there is no personal self. Truth is not something one can apply to anything, anywhere. Truth is not a medicine for the ills of the world or the flesh, yet it may appear so when all senses of suffering vanishes, never to come into mind or to be remembered any more. Divine intelligence is already present, aware as itself in all its beauty and action. There is no other who has to work to attain God or to maintain God. God already has done all for God that can be done, all that needs to be done to make God all to sustain I am forever in its eternally present, perfect state of totality. We are not speaking of a deity who is all, and a you or me beside who can enjoy or radiate this God. There is no divisibility to oneness. We are not concerned with the truth about God, what it is, and what it is not as applied to something else. We are not concerned with the truth about you, me, anyone, anywhere. All this is duality, separation from one. God is this one, all truth, inclusive of this identity I am. And mind's universe of ideas wherein is my world, my home, body, friends, business, and every conceivable good thing. To behold spirit's world, this very one present here now, one must look out from mind, not up from a supposition of evil or darkness. From the basis of duality, one cannot change the false picture to more agreeable patterns, nor ease the tension and pressure of his false assumption. Such is like trying to apply truth to make a dream satisfactory. Truth explodes the possibility of a dream. It does not treat it nor with it. Assumption and truth do not work together. One is real, the other is nothing. One is all, the other does not exist. The status quo cannot be altered. One remains forever the one. What is not, forever is not. Suppose one would look out at a view through windows practically opaque, deep with dirt and a very defective glass. The distorted view would have little relationship to the actual. Suppose he should then raise the window and look at the view, beautiful to behold. Only then might he realize that the distortion did not need correcting, that the actual was already ideal. So it is in reality. Therefore, do not look upon yourself or your world through the distorted, dirt-covered, opaque human senses, but look out through the window of infinite intelligence and behold all as it is, perfect, whole, indestructible. One does not need to alter the view. It is the point of view that he must check. In truth, God is the sole viewer. He who would approach truth via duality is certain to see nothing in reality, for duality is opaque. There can never be an increase or decrease of substance, God. However, mind will forever continue conceiving new ideas, forms, or patterns in consciousness for itself. If this were not so, mind would be limited, have come to an end of its activity, its imagination, hence would be measurable and bounded. Of beauty there is no end. Of infinite awareness, joy, rapture, glory, heaven, there is no end. Being life, its forms, visibly apparent as our world, are not repetitious, uninteresting, finite, boring, or dull, but are wonders to behold, infinite variations, new, fresh, thrilling, spontaneous throughout eternity. It will take forever for God to plumb the infinite entirety of mind, the boundless, endless, undimensional, unlimited, immeasurable, all-inclusive of truth being. This mind is individually identifying itself here and now as this I that I am, inclusive of this one and only world.